Hello
Hey,
and good evening, and welcome to The
the truth
Truth Behind
behind the
the Truth.
truth.
Another exciting Saturday night. You here with the
Yes,
fellas.
yes.
You know, we're excited to be here with you guys. So thank you for taking the time out to share and be a part of all of this discussion, whether you like it or not. I mean, hey, that's what we are. We're the truth behind the truth. So, put it in the comments. We'll try to address it if we need to. If we don't, if we pass it over something we can't talk about. But anyway, but we are glad to have you. We're really, really glad to have you. Parnell will be joining us in a little bit. It is his birthday weekend, so we'll give him a big shout out when he gets here.
Woo.
He has finally turned 19.
Yeah.
He's been holding fast at 18, but he finally made 18, so you can celebrate when he turned 19.
I know, right?
So he'll be joining us in a little bit. We got a really, really interesting show tonight, so we will be talking about that, getting into more of the men's fashion. Okay, we're going to be looking at fashions, how they evolve, from men. From I think we're starting from the 70s and we're going a little bit of the 80s and a little bit of the 90s, and all the way up to the 2000s, and see what our opinions are about those fashions.
Yeah.
And hopefully, men, you will, gather around that idea and understand it's okay to look nice. All right. So,
right.
And our wonderful brother in North Carolina looks fabulous every week in his different attire, and I love the gold and the white. And he looks so happy and joyous and full of life and all the above.
I feel happy. I feel happy.
Well, it shows,
Yeah.
It shows the colors, the great color palette,
Yeah.
I mean, it works well. But you can wear most colors pretty well anyway because of your skin tone. So you don't have to shy from anything, do you?
Well, I'm colorblind, so I stand to stick to basic colors.
Really? I mean, are you like true colorblind, or you just kind of just don't see them?
True colorblind. When I was applying to become a police cadet,
right?
One of the tests they give you is a colorblind test, and that was when I discovered that I was colorblind, because they passed me, but I didn't really pass the test.
Oh, okay.
So what they do, they give you a bowl of colors and they ask you to pick out certain colors. And I wasn't, And I remember as a kid, remembering when we would do colors, I would have a difficult time distinguishing like pinks and reds, but I didn't know what was going on. So I could see basic colors, but when they're together, it's difficult for me to distinguish.
Wow. Well, here's the blessing side of this. See, because you are colorblind, we always talk about in society, how society is to be colorblind, to things that are out there. I mean, just as a good spin on that, just speaking of that, because we should all be colorblind and informed of the issues that we face, out there in life, and look at the world from a neutral perspective. And that's kind of the message I think that really should be out among everybody.
Human perspective.
From a human perspective, yeah. But neutrally human perspective, yeah. I mean, we really should. So, kudos to that. I mean, there's a blessing in it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because you can speak from a different level. That's good. That's really good to hear. Yeah. Right. Other than that, how everything is doing in North Carolina?
Good. Well, I just got back. I was in Miami for about 4 days.
Okay.
It rained the entire time I was there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you didn't get to do nothing.
So I didn't get to do anything. Didn't get to see anything, but it was good. I'm working with a new brand, and so they had me come down there to do some videos for them.
Wow. I always tell you, Harold, I mean, at the end of the day, I am just so proud of your success. It makes us proud to be connected with you. I mean, a part of the Truth Behind Truth family, not only this show, but outside of the other things that we do. And, when you have people like that on your team, this is another thing for you guys in the audience. You surround yourself with great people, you have to be great. You know what I'm saying? That energy propels itself. Different portions of your greatness start to happen. But when you're connected with great people, that energy rolls over into you, And I'm grateful. I mean, I'm really grateful that you've been my friend for a long time, and then and also the process of where we are with things with the Truth Behind the Truth and your commitment to being here and and all of that. So I'm really grateful for that. And watching you grow. You know what I'm saying?
My new mantra is it gets greater later.
All right.
These things and these opportunities will be happening at 55. So I'm grateful, but I really believe that it gets greater later. So
that's good. You and I've talked about this on the show quite a bit. I will never forget. Okay, when we got off and said Tyler Perry. Okay, we was in the we was sitting in Piccadilly, handing each other tissues. Okay.
Right. And I was looking outside because I was afraid that the repo man was gonna come get my car. I don't know if I told you that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But yeah, we sat there and cried about 2-3 hours.
We
Well, I'm
sure
telling you,
did. And it was so cathartic, and it was what I needed at that time.
Yes.
Because I was holding so much in, and I needed to talk to someone that would not judge where I was.
Thank you.
Because so often we're trying to.
You're gonna make me cry right now. I mean,
no, because because I was so used to putting on the facade like I was okay, and to be able to sit with you and be vulnerable with you, it was really healing, and it really helped me to know that things were gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we forget that when we're going through that things are going to be okay. So yeah, I appreciate you for that. That's why you're my brother.
Yes,
you be cussing and having all your episodes. You will never be my brother.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh my God. Woo, you bring tears to my eyes right now. Y'all know me. I'm a cry bucket, but I don't mind because they're always tears of joy. You know, they really are, because it's an unleashing of happiness, So thank you again. Thank you. If I could give you a hug and kiss, I would right now, Thank you for that. But anyway, let's move on.
How y'all doing?
So in topics, so we're going to cover like
how are y'all doing?
I'm sorry. We always forget us. We run out of
I'm doing fine.
Okay,
I am absolutely doing fine. And to be honest with you, I felt that too. To be honest with you, everybody needs somebody that like to reassure them that everything's going to be all right. And I like that. Great. What you say? Greater.
It gets greater later.
It gets greater later.
Yeah, it's greater later. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And you need to hear that.
That's
know what I mean? You really, really need. And this is why I love this core of what we have. And I know, guys, that you feel like we're not involving you in this core, but what we're saying is that you should have a core among of somebody that you can align yourself with. That's in a place of agreement for your future and for what you want to do. Because everybody has been put on this planet to do something, okay, and do something to a great dimension to what you're supposed to do. Everybody can be great. Okay, everybody can be great. There's a greatness. There's enough room in greatness for everybody. Okay, it is. There's enough room. So don't ever feel like you are overstepping someone or stepping in their place by your area of being great. Because everybody has that opportunity. You just got to believe it.
Don't think that your moment, you've missed your moment.
Oh my God! See, wait a minute. Go ahead, keep talking. So you're gonna make me cry yet.
No, don't think that you miss your moment because sometimes we be wanting things in our own times, but sometimes we're not prepared or ready for the thing that we desire and want.
Yes.
So don't think that you've missed your moment. And I know it's difficult because trust me, after losing everything that I lost and going through what I went through. It felt at times like, okay, it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. But I know for sure that, it will happen. You just got to keep believing. You got to keep getting up,
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's so true.
Right.
I've shared with the audience, just real quick, since you mentioned about keep believing, because even and I don't know so much that living here in LA has always been the ultimate dream. For me, he got on board with it. I'm sure it wasn't necessarily coming from Alabama at one point wasn't his ultimate dream to be in such a big city, but being that I had been here before.
Right.
And realize that, there was so much around me that I didn't know what was around me or how to go forward and gave up on it. I mean, I got scared, and whatever, and ran back home to mama, I mean, at the end of the day. But one of the things that has always been rooted in me is that I would always be in LA. I would always be in California. California was like my destined for the rest of my life. And I always do that. It took over 30 something years to get back here.
Right.
But I always spoke of it. I always talked about it. I always talked about being back here in this city and in this state. And it took a time for it to manifest, but it did. And I'm very grateful for it because I know that the plane is set for so many things,
right?
So many things that are moving, and how I've had so many confirmations from people just walking up that I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? That I don't even know that have spoken. You're in the right place. You're supposed to be. You're doing, you know what I mean, magnificent things. But anyway, enough said about that. We got a lot to do.
Hey, did you get some new glasses? Speaking of fashion, are those new glasses?
Yes.
Oh, come on with your fashionable self. Look, I got some red. Is that red?
Yeah, there's a little brown on the side here, and then I got the leopard ones, and you know, I'm since I got to wear readers now, so I'm gonna start investing in fashion readers.
Okay, those are fly. Those are fly. I like those.
Since I almost thought you was I thought you bought those glasses just in case we were gonna stream the Hulu channel and watch Freaknik to see if somebody went to that 1994 Freaknik. I thought those glasses were for just to see if somebody
did something wrong, right? Okay.
That should be the question of the day. Are you afraid of the Freaknik documentary? Please comment. There's a lot of people are in their feelings about this Freaknik documentary.
Well, they shouldn't, because that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? Why be afraid of something when you're being brought to light of what you did and perform? Now, you may not have been in the right headspace at that time. We get it, okay? But you did it.
So so the documentary, is there actual footage from Freaknik?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There have been some people been writing in letters telling them, they've been trying to stop this documentary because, the fact that these people have now lucrative jobs within corporate America, and they don't want the and one is a judge too. I heard that she's trying to get this stopped because there might be some footages of her in an uncompromising position.
Right.
Wow.
So, well, you don't
make me want to see it now.
Right. They should be telling the new generation this stuff that you're putting on, platforms that are not good for your look. Okay. It does affect you down in the future.
As they it really affects you. Yeah. Sorry, so as the old folks would say, play caution to the wind. Okay, because you never know where it's gonna blow. Okay, literally. You know what I'm saying? Literally. Okay, because and now that I think about it, and I know this wasn't really part of our topic tonight. Yeah. But it's kind of where we ended up going. A lot of the behaviors that I'm very critical of, and I got to be honest. I mean, the twerking and all this type of stuff is necessary. Now, if you're doing that in a club, you have yourself a good time. But out on the street and just finding you a pole and bending over and doing all that stuff, that's a bit much. But anyway, my point about that is that the same behaviors were in Freaknik and worse. You see what I'm saying? And worse. So you have to be very careful. And thank God I wasn't a Freaknik. I can be a little bit critical. Okay, but
you didn't go. You weren't a part of it.
No, I wasn't a Freakniker. Okay, but the idea of that is that these same behaviors are just a transcendent what had already been going on. And typically,
I sure hate I missed it. I heard about it and I wanted to participate, but I guess it's a blessing. I guess it's a blessing that I didn't.
Right, it was a mess. But and you think about I know we got to go to a break, but you think about this sexual movement of things, how things have evolved, and people being very critical about these different things, like pansexuals and and having multiple relationships. Well, a lot of that stuff kind of painted right out through Freaknik. Okay, a hell of a lot of that stuff was going on. All right. Well, I thought that we were back in the hippie series, back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Love, all free love, whatever the case may be. So
through the black experience.
Through the black experience now, you know what I'm saying? So, when you see this type of stuff resurface itself, somebody had to plant a seed. You know what I mean? And it's just a seed that's growing. So I'm like, oh boy. But anyway, we're gonna continue.
I can't wait for it to come out. I want to see it.
I know, right? All right, guys. We will be right back after this break, digging into more and more on the Truth Behind the Truth with the fellas and News Buzz. We'll be right back.
you call? Yeah. Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals?
Call Junk Stars.
All right, and we're back. There he is. Hey, all right. Now this show has really done got handsome. Okay, it is all here and together. Right. And we want to say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go, Shorty. It's your birthday. We're going to party like it's your birthday. Hey, come on now.
We just talked about Freaknik Kurgan. I told y'all, see, he been riding 18, and now he got 19. He done got grown. It's good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I thank some of my friends for throwing a little something for me. My friend Ralph hosted a little something, and I had a little champagne, so I'm really feeling good.
Come on now.
Well, we're going to do something for you out here, too, as well. We have to see what the schedule's like and meet and get together. Yes, we never miss it. We celebrate your birthday every year, you know, so we got to find a way to put that together, you know, make that happen, you know. Got to drink that water now to get rid of that champagne, right?
Absolutely. And I was just getting off the phone with Junk Stars. That little boy's like, "Oh, Junk Stars!"
I can't. Well, we are glad to see you. That is definitely for sure. So anyway, what did we leave off? We left off what we were talking about. Freakniks.
Did you go to Freaknik to Parnell?
I never went to Freaknik. I mean, there were times that I kind of like, well, maybe I should go and see what it's about. But then I would see clips. I'm like, yeah, no. I don't need to be up in the middle of that. That's a whole lot going on.
A whole lot of stuff going on.
You want a cheap trick? Better go down to Freaknik.
You ain't lying. Because they tore up Atlanta. I'm saying, but anyway.
I can believe that. They still tearing up Atlanta. But, you know, speaking of the 90s, you know, your girl Janet Jackson's back.
Yes.
And she doesn't have a leotard on. Yes. Thank God. There's no leotard.
No leotard nowhere. I don't know if we have a picture. Maybe we can get one up as we talk about it. But I am just so excited for her, you know. And I think I sent everybody the post on Instagram with Damon Johns had, you know, put about, you know, going to see the show. Of course, he two rows from the stage, you know. You know, everybody way back here, but you know, to get her full. But she looks really good.
Yes, she does.
You know, and he said that it was a really, really, according to his comments, it was a really, really good show, and encouraging everybody to definitely go, you know, when she comes near you. You know, I'm looking at tickets.
They're sold out. The tickets are sold out. She got. I mean, and plus they're very expensive. I mean, whoever goes, they going. They definitely going. But goodness,
I was looking. I was like,
how much are tickets?
I was looking.
They look bit high.
No, I was looking
for the inflation community. For those inflation community, you think about it, Beyonce's tickets are just as expensive.
Right.
But golly, you know.
Yeah, Janet. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
First tier like levels, you know, like down on the floor, first tier levels. I mean, you're looking at 1,000 or more. I mean, you know, like when you get to the main floor, you're like 2,000, you know, 25. Yeah, you know, for the main floor, and then you go up a little level, then you're like 500, and then you go up a little higher, then you go drop down to maybe 400, and then you go up a little higher. you get to about 100, then you get way up at the top, you got 20.
Yeah, I guess I'll be watching on YouTube.
You know, but I remember actually, then we're gonna move on. I remember, oh my God, I still say that one of her best tour, I mean, was Rhythm Nation tour. You know, I had, oh my God. And I was so fortunate then because way back then we had Turtle Records back in Atlanta. And Turtle Records had, you know, was doing all the ticket sales. And they had this raffle, you know, to be able to get in line. I got there early. I was going to get Janet Jackson tickets. So I got there early. And then when we got in line, what happens, people were standing around, said everybody gets in line, right? So I got in line. And I ended up down way down number like 14, 15, way down the end of the day. I was like, damn, I got here early, right? So then they had, you had to go back with tickets. So they came out with these little tickets with the numbers on them. So my ticket put me at number 2 in line after being at number 20. Wow. So I got up there and bought, and when I bought my tickets, I ended up getting 4 rows from the stage. I was like, yeah, that was like cool. I stood up and hollered the whole time. Couldn't talk for a week. But anyway, let's move on now. So let's real quick before we go in. I want to just mention Jamie Foxx real quick. You know, and you know what was happening. You know, with him, a mild stroke, from my understanding. He's still in the hospital in Atlanta because he was him and Cameron Diaz and what's the other star that was with them? Oh gosh, he's their name.
Well, not Pacino, right?
No. But it was him and Cameron Diaz. They were you know, starting a new film, and Cameron Diaz had put out that she was very sorry that would happen because this is her comeback film. You know, because she decided to start acting again, you know, because she was gone for a long period of time. And she was saying the other day that she didn't think this was going to be, maybe this was a sign that she should have never did it. You know, she's taking it really hard, you know, what happened to him, you know, in the process of that. So I was like, wow, you know, maybe she's right. You know, I mean, at the end, you can't blame what happened to somebody else, but it happens in the middle of their filming of their film. So she's questioning the fact of coming back, you know.
Well, you know, and this is just a reminder that as we get older, we really have to pay particular attention to our health.
Right.
Because I check my blood pressure all the time, but lately I had been getting smoothies from Smoothie King. Okay. And I had noticed my blood pressure had increased.
Really?
What I did not know is those smoothies have a lot of sodium in there. They have, I started researching, I'm like, something is going on. A 32-ounce smoothie, I was getting this vegan nutty smoothie. It has 590 milligrams of sodium. I had no idea. Wow. And a lot of times we're consuming stuff and we don't even realize the content of it and how it's impacting us. Because I thought I was drinking something that was healthy. And it's not.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and sorry, and I have to admit, you know, I'm a sodium guy here, you know, but I try this, and he knows I really stay away from like regular iodine salt. You know, I usually use like garlic salt. You know, far better. You know, in the realm of having sodium in your diet, you know, whatever. Or if you're not using sea salt, but sea salt just is too powerful. You put a couple drops on it, it take over everything.
I know you're only 30s, but when you get into your 50s, you need to pay attention to it.
Right. Okay.
Because we should.
You know what? Honestly, you need to just pay attention at all times. Period.
Now he's good because he's not a sodium person. You know, he's really not. I mean, maybe less from French fries when he has French fries or something, but he's pretty good. I mean, he really is. I don't know how he do it, but I don't want too much salt. Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he really
salt on anything.
Right. He really
moderation.
Yeah, everything in moderation. You know.
I know, Harold, you would have been mortified, but I had some Doritos at my little party. I'm sorry.
When's your birthday?
Thank you. Yeah, but you know what, Harold, on a serious note, I had a death in the family.
Right.
Yesterday, my cousin Aaron Coleman, he died in DC, and he was a diabetic for such a long time, and he was he lived his life on that insulin, on the shot. And but he succumbed to the seriousness of that, and was in a coma, and he passed yesterday. And I just want to send my love out to my aunts and my family because that was a terrible blow, especially to my grandma who's not 89 and turning 90 this year. be her second grandchild.
Wow.
And, you know, so, you know, just keep us all in your prayers. And Melissa, she put out a post because she was married to my cousin.
Right.
So, you know, on that though, yeah, on a serious note, yeah, you have to watch your health. Please, please, please. And when I go on my vacation the week after next, I'm going to be
going back to the gym.
I might have to sleep in the gym to get this weight off of me and off my face. No more. It's gotta go. Gotta go.
You know one thing, and then we're gonna move on. You know, just mentioned about Aaron. You know, and things. See, you know, when you become diabetic, I'm type 2. You know, and I manage with the things that, you know, fortunately I don't have to go the other route. You know, things like that. But when you're type 1, that's always very critical. You know what I'm saying, in terms of what you do and how you things like that. And unfortunately, you know, some of the habits that Aaron had, you know, may have contributed to, you know, to what happened to him. You know, I mean, I think because he still smoked and things like that.
Yeah, just little
stuff smokes and habits, and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and just to encourage everybody that if you have these unnecessary habits and you are a diabetic or pre-diabetic, you really need to refocus that.
Yes,
you know what I mean? I know, Harold, you talked about it a lot, different juicing and things like that to help that, you know, as well. Especially men, you know, typically men of color, you know, men of color, you know, I mean, everybody says we always get pointed out for whatever reason and when these studies and things, but I think there's some validity to it because of the habits. You know, we are the highest in chain smoking, African-American men, and typically those Newports and Cools and, you know, all those type of things, you know, the high nicotine, you know, very, very high in that, you know, and when you have the ability to at least seek help to, to get that out of your life, do it, you know, I mean, do it because it's very important. I mean, it leads to, you know, not only cancer, but heart disease, diabetes, you know, all those things that follow from smoking. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I know that's what we're probably talking about on the show tonight, but it's very, very important.
It is very important.
Very important to be able to know that, and kind of spinning off of, you know, talking about Jamie Foxx. But the cause of his stroke has not been revealed at this particular time. But we still send him energy, you know, and light, and, you know, complete healing and recovery, you know, for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on.
Shanquilla Robinson. How do y'all feel about this? Because this has, like you here, we talked about this before the show. This has really pissed me off that they have now dropped it because there's not enough evidence to, you know, bring up criminal charges on these people, which I think is ridiculous because this was on a live.
Right.
How do you feel about this? This is absolutely this is ridiculous.
It's infuriating. I mean, we saw what happened, and for the federal government decide not to do anything. And I think so. Mexico did their autopsy, and it came out that she died because of the injuries. And then I guess a week later, a month later, the United States did a different autopsy after she had been embalmed, and it didn't show everything that. And so I guess they're using that as their justification for not pursuing charges. But I'm like, to think that these folks can possibly get away with murder is just crazy.
It's terrible,
right? You know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just terrible. I think, I feel like we should have some community justice. Somebody knows somebody.
Right. Come on, Juju. Let's go get Juju.
And I know somebody knows somebody, because especially in places like North Carolina, family knows family, cousin knows. Somebody needs to pull somebody's ass out and get the ass whooping.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, if we can't depend on the U.S. federal government or justice to do something about this matter, we as a community need to do something to bring some type of awareness and bring a point to these people who are doing these things. Because not only it was her situation, but if you look at Twitter, social media, you're seeing this all the time.
Right. Yeah.
You're seeing people just act out, lash out, shoot out, and it's like reckless behavior out here in these streets. And I work in a store every night, and I tell people all the time before they leave, y'all be safe, because you could just be walking down the street and somebody just, will just spaz out. Sorry for using that word, but I'm getting that. Right. But still, though, it's just.
But I just wonder if she was a different color, with the outcome.
Well, I would submit that possibly, but there have been situations where these other women have, different women of different nationalities have gone through the same situation.
And that girl from Aruba that got killed.
Right.
The girl from Aruba, when they sent everybody down there to find her.
But the thing about it is, true. But here's the thing, you know, I think that, and to your point, Harold, we need to, or her family needs to really press the government to really,
that's right,
you know, to press the government to get involved and make something happen. Just like this, Natalie Holloway. Yeah, I remember that
because she was from Birmingham, Alabama, and she was at Hoover at Hoover High School, and you know that situation was an unfortunate situation, but the U.S. government was down there. Everybody was down there.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is my point. This is my point. Is that the family needs to get on the government about that. With her family, now I know they probably didn't get quite as much pushback, but they got on the government about her because they were going to push Natalie Holloway over to the side, and you know, and forget about it until her mother said, "Oh no, y'all gonna investigate about my daughter." So my point is that Shanquilla's family really needs to press the needle. You know what I'm saying? And really press it and say, look, we need to find out where this happened, who was involved, and do some more investigation about it. I mean, I think that we can't just throw our hands up and say it was just a black issue, okay, if you know what I mean. But we need to get in there and really press and make notice of it. Keep it in front of everybody. You know what I mean? No. Keep the word out there.
Well, what ain't a black issue is what's going on with the Dalai Lama?
Oh, I don't want to suck on that tongue. On that note, that's a bad taste in my mouth. Oh my God. Bring that up. Oh my God. I just want
they need to start letting these priests and these bishops get married and have sex because they kiss and they want to tongue with babies and kids at the stove. I don't understand what's going on in this world. It just has me confused.
That just gave me all types of nasty feelings.
No, it's crazy because I have said it for years that anytime you force someone to repress their sexuality, it comes out in unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
And I can't say, I made this comment on the Friends post, I can't say for sure that the Dalai Lama is a pedophile or whatever. I says, but it is inappropriate to ask a child to suck on your anything.
Hello.
You know, those are two words that you don't say to any child to suck my.
Right.
Now, if you're grown, you can tell. But leave the kids alone.
Right. You know, that kind of segue. Segues into, you know, the situation with the drag queens and, you know, and all this thing that's going on in the transgender community about just being visual to a younger group of people. You know, and it's really making steam. I mean, you know, we're down in Florida and all these other different states are trying to get them banned, you know, and from actually doing their shows and, you know, and all of this. And I think that this is a tough conversation. Okay. Yes, you know, it's a really tough conversation.
Truth behind the truth.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, and now my take on I have two takes. Okay. But my first take, now me personally, and you know this, for a long time, I personally, even being a same gender loving man, I was scared of drag queens. I just was. Okay. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the idea of the makeup, or was it like some people say that, you know, in person that it made them, and back in I'm not calling them clowns. Please please don't write me say I called you a clown. Okay. But the person that was made up in a clown face, I think maybe I was traumatized by something about that as a young age, because I didn't really want them near me.
Was this before Tu Wong Fu? No. Was this way before Tu Wong Fu? Because that was my introduction to drag queens right there.
Tu Wong kind of made everybody liberated in the idea that. But
kind of made me laugh. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, right. Oh, wow, we got a break. Okay. But I'll
come back to it.
We got a break. Okay. Hey, we got a break. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, Janet.
Janet. Yes. All right, and we're back, yes. Mr. Jamie Foxx. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. So we're going to get back into these drag queens real quick, okay?
So why do you think you were uncomfortable or afraid?
And that's something I'm still trying to analyze, I mean, as a whole. I don't know if it was just the approach or the aggressive approach, that necessarily a lot of them may have in a club setting. They come up and rub on you and all that type of stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's just, I just can't really explain it. Now, to the point, I know you guys got something. The liberating part here is that then you start looking at RuPaul, okay? Then you start looking at the success of RuPaul and then how it has gravitated to, mostly middle American. RuPaul has been very successful. So then, I started looking at it as more of an art form. And then, back in Atlanta, we'd go to some of the shows and, and see them in that capacity. But early on, I was like, ooh, I just can't, But anyway, so back to the kids. Okay. So now, that to me, okay, it could be taken in so many different ways. I mean, now a lot of the non-conforming parents, feel like that this is really taking a step beyond where they should in terms of the involvement in this point. Now, is this saying to a child that it is okay to be a drag king? Is it saying to a child that it's okay to be gay when a child shouldn't be making that decision? All of those factors kind of, waved into what these people have been talking about it. So maybe that's the area of our discussion that you guys were scared of drag queen like me.
I wasn't scared of drag queens. When I talked to Wong Fu, that kind of opened my eyes to that life. And then I remember my good friend Arby from 7th grade. He was a little Jewish boy that we used to hang out with a whole bunch of other folks. When I was going to my first club, he was Mindy, and I didn't know it. He was Mindy, and that was his drag queen name. And I was like, oh my God, I remember him, Arby. And then we introduced ourselves, as his name. And so, but it didn't scare me. It kind of, I was like, oh, that's interesting how they live and how they have to make their money. But I don't know, it didn't scare me, but it really, I was naive to how they, navigate life and that schedule of having to work like that. But no, I wasn't scared. I just love that movie to Wong Fu. Now that opened my eyes. I love a Nazi and you had, who was it? Miss Chi-Chi. Yeah. That was my movie.
Chi-Chi Rodriguez.
Yeah. I love that movie. I watched it over and over again. Go ahead, Parnell.
Well, the ridiculousness about it is that children have been entertained by drag queens since Bugs Bunny in 1940. So it's just like Bugs was always dressing up in drag all the time. We see it all the time. We see, people have been showing that old commercial with T-Clown and what's his face, Rudy Giuliani dressed up in drag.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, how many actors and stuff over the years, have been dressed up? Some Like It Hot, Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon dressed up in drag. So this whole thing about, we don't want the kids seeing it. Well, then turn off Bugs Bunny.
Right.
Okay.
If that's the really thing, it really is about controlling people and finding, we're going to do everything except ban those things that are actually harming children.
Right.
We won't ban assault rifles, but we're going to ban
Right.
And the whole thing about with the opposition, they're doing these sexualized things. I'm like, yes, drag queens in the clubs, yes, are sexier than they are when it's just drag queen story hour. Right. They're not the same kind of drag performances that are happening when you have a drag queen reading a story to kids. Right. It's not the same activity. They don't dress the same way that they would. But it's funny because these same parents will then take their children to Hooters to eat. Where the women are dressed in scanty clothes. Hooters is not a themed restaurant for children,
right?
But they will march their little happy bundles right up in Hooters with no problem. Exactly. So it's always just an issue whenever it comes to the LGBTQ community. All of a sudden, no, we can't have our kids see that.
Right.
Go ahead, Harold.
It's so crazy to me because folks think that exposure rubs off on people. It's just so ridiculous. Because if that was the case, everybody would have been straight. It's just so ridiculous. I just think that people they need to, what do you say, wake up? They just need to wake up. It's just like, come on, let's stop making something out of nothing.
Right.
And what is something is the Dalai Lama telling that boy to kiss his fullest.
Yeah.
That's something. That's something.
That's very problematic right there.
Now that's problematic.
You know, I mean, and
that poor kid is probably traumatized for the rest of his life.
Oh, I know, right? For real. You know, one point we're gonna move on. You know, this is just to encourage these that have the problem with the drag queen relationship with young people. There, to me, this was a great series that RuPaul did on Netflix, which was AJ and the Queen. It was really, really done very well, you know, because what it basically showed is that, you know, RuPaul ended up being kind of a father-mother figure to this runaway. She wasn't even a teen. Like maybe 10, 12, something like that in the age category. But they go through this whole life, you know, together, and they bond and, you know, what happened. And the young lady didn't have a relationship with her parent or her mother at all, you know, up until Ru leads them back, or Ru's character leads them back to, you know, to this particular place. But it's a really good series, a mini series that it was supposed to have been a regular series, but it didn't get picked up, you know, unfortunately. But it's really good. So I encourage you guys to take a look at that, you know, and maybe change your viewpoint of where the idea of the drag queen fits into the narrative of but non-influential to a young person that was helping raise a person. You know,
and behind the truth, it wasn't too long. We're not too long off when they used to censor us on television, on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah,
shut it down. No black faces. Let's keep on moving. Louisville mass shooting. You know, that's a situation that we talk about gun control, and that is the number one issue. And you know, we're talking about drag queens and that situation, but they, you know, this situation right here, they are trying their best to beat this situation down. And one thing I have issue with is, why are they always humanizing these terrorists? They're humanizing these people to the point that they're making it like, oh my gosh, he was just an intern and he knew he was going to get fired. But on top of that, they
look like them.
He wasn't a star athlete back in college and all this other stuff. Why are they doing this to us? He was a murderer. Now you get fired, you just get fired. It's not hard to go find another job. But why is it that now all of a sudden you show up, you write a letter to your parents, you go into the bank, kill 5 people, and next thing you know, oh my God, no, this man had issues. But still though, what y'all
I've been fired, ain't shot nobody yet.
Okay.
Okay. Just go out and find the next job. Like, all right, so that's over. Like, okay, what's next?
The misdirected empathy is just astounding to me. It's like,
I like that, Harold. Misdirected empathy, you know, because I think what's happening here, and I was just listening to what you guys are saying. It's getting to be, you know, to the point with these shootings, mass shooting, whether it's the children or other situations going on, that it's becoming a common everyday thing. You know, and it's very, very sad that the emotion and the need to push legislation to change, again, I don't think there's not enough fingers on the needle, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, to really just start making something happen. Because we talk about our vote, we talk about putting these people in their political position, but there's a disconnect somewhere in the line of humanity. Okay, and I think that because if you get overly saturated with something, you become numb to it. So it becomes like this is another day thing. Oh, well, you know, somebody got shot again today, you know, and then we turn into eventually becoming the OK Corral. What's the difference of somebody walking down with a regular gun and popping somebody off on the street, which they are doing kind of frequently nowadays as well. There's no consequences anymore. The only consequence basically is that if you really get caught, if you don't get killed, okay, they'll hopefully put you in jail, you know, or they'll do a psychoanalysis over you and then find you that you weren't in the right mind, and then they'll give you less time. Okay, speaking of other people, all right, you know, so I don't know what we can do, you know, I mean, just to kind of send this message out there, because it seems like it's just becoming a point that people are like, oh, okay, it's just another thing.
I got a solution to this.
And it's sad. It's really sad. I'm not saying to make a light of it by no means, but I'm just saying that the aura, there's not enough people pushing hard enough on the needle.
Term limits.
Term limits too. But like you said, Parnell, it's so much. We're so focused on drag queen issues would really have no relevance. You don't find a drag queen going with an AKA in front of children shooting them up. Okay, at the end of the day, you know, you find somebody that supposedly had a balance that didn't put makeup on or whatever and going and doing all this.
Nice looking dude and very conservative, very very conservative looking.
And they did mention he was a Christian too, but
a Christian.
I'm not surprised.
You know, I'm being facetious, you know, but you know,
never did a bad thing in his life until
never ever
15. I mean,
never do. You know, never do. But anyway, you know, I don't know. This is something that maybe we can keep tossing around. Maybe we'll find the answer on the show, guys. You keep tuning in. We may can be able to give you some advice on how to push that needle a little bit harder. But we do want to mention about the gentleman that got reinstated. I'm so glad that they got, you know, back in, you know, and of course the news has put it as, oh, it's just a limited term because they're going to have to be voted back in to stay in the position. Well, you know what? Let these gentlemen get in here, and hopefully these gentlemen and those that are aligning themselves with them can push that needle enough to get some change happening. You know, at least they felt the power and the need to speak up.
And I love these two young men. They are brilliant, and they are such. You know, when you're brilliant and black, you are such a threat to the establishment. Then the establishment just fears them because they know who they are.
Right.
And they have the intellect to back it up, you know.
Right.
So they are a threat.
Well, the strength and the tenacity, you know, and it reminds me, you know, typically of how strongly but yet subtle Martin Luther King was. He was very powerful in word, very powerful, and stood his ground about things, and he made stuff happen, you know, at the end of the day. And, you know, I kind of see him, you know, kind of infusing these guys in a different, more modern flair. But I see that in them, you know, for what he stood for, and didn't back down. You know what I mean? So it's good. It's really good. And I have always put the energy out there. So I would really love to see some more African American men that are getting involved in, you know, in social change.
Or just young people in general.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest with you, I wish those who are on Twitter and follow these idiots who are on social media, who are saying, well, you know, they are code switching and all this stuff because they are having to, you know, tote the line and having to deal what they're having to deal with because they are, you know, I just wish those people I wish some of these folks would stop listening to the distraction that is out there.
Right.
Because some of these people are not doing the work.
Right.
You know, it's
what are they saying? What are they saying on Twitter?
You know, it's just this story out there them about code switching, and you know, and he was on Charlemagne's show, and you know, and they were berating him. Well, you know, the lady had questions, and I was for the questioning, but some people felt offended that she was berating. Let's just say, in other words, she wasn't berating him, but she was grilling him about the reparations stuff that we had talked about on this show and his dealings and his policies about Black policies, right? Black policies and reparations, and what was his views on those things. And he said, you know, yeah, he played the politician role because he had to talk around it. But he was saying that wasn't the first on his list. You know, he believes that we should have some form of reparations. But at this moment within his community, dealing with the elderly, that is not top priority. And some people got offended about that. Wow. But my thing is with that is if you think you can bring about change, I think you need to join the conversation instead of throwing stones and being on the sidelines. It's so easy to throw stones and be on the sidelines.
Right.
But it's just as easy as getting involved. You need to get involved and make your voices heard. Like you say, there needs to be more Black men, but there needs to be more youth involved within our political system because that was change all of this craziness with gun laws, with all this crazy, because, you know, the Gen Zs, they're a different breed, baby.
Right. They have the kind of courage that we need, you know. They have a different type of courage. You know, old folks got mortgages and kids they worried about. These young folks, they got a different type of courage and a different type of energy.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to get ready for another break real quick. And then we're going to come back because, you know, this month, as we have said that we're focusing on men quite, you know, this month. Yeah. So we're going to go back into the little fashion. So we're going to look about some little fashion from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to now, and see how we have evolved and get our opinions on that and kind of see where you fall in the make of that. And next week, we're going to talk about you cleaning your butt. I'm sorry.
Angel flights.
We're going to talk about you cleaning your lower extremities next week, okay? All right, because you need to keep some people happy. Matter of fact, well, we'll talk about next week. I got something I want to put up for next week too about what this girl did. But anyway,
I don't want to know what she did.
Okay, what she did. Anyway, we'll be right back when it's break.
Okay, now I can.
Oh, I don't
Yes.
want to
Yes, indeed. That is
John
a
D.
great.
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller. That is definitely the model.
And
right
we have
there.
a bunch of them right now.
Yes.
We have a bunch of them
Yes,
that
we do.
believe. Did you hear that man off the Starbucks CEO?
Yeah.
He said he did not want to share his wealth with his workers. He said,
Oh yeah.
he
yeah,
said
yeah,
that
this
nobody
is true.
gave him a helping hand, and as a child, he lived in government housing and all this stuff, and he didn't believe that they should have a helping hand. And I said to myself, you know what? That is the views of each and every billionaire that is out here these days. If you're working for these companies and you're having a hard time trying to survive, that is the reason.
Mhm.
They don't see the need in helping you. You working for them.
That's true.
And I think entrepreneurship is so needed these days. You have to start finding. That's what we're trying to do. Truth
Right.
behind the
Truth
truth.
behind the truth. Definitely.
But we're talking about men fashion.
Yes.
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 Now,
Yes.
now this right here is coming back.
Yeah.
This is coming back.
This is coming back. Now this is a 70s outfit, that was actually quite popular then. The two-tone and
My dad had an outfit like that. I
Did
remember.
okay. And we didn't cross it to saying that it was overly feminine, and things like that, as how this era has said that if a man is worn and something like this, that he's trying to turn gay, and he, like, where did fashion become gay?
But you have to think about this. Bodies back in those days were very lean.
Yeah, well, yeah,
They were
very
Yes,
lean.
right.
Nowadays,
That
you
is so
got
true.
people overdoing everything with their bodies, and
Right.
including, you think about women, but men are out here overdoing it too. This thing, I don't mind, the thickness movement, but bodies back in those days, and it was the
Yeah,
food
very
probably very
That's
lean.
a good point, D. Yeah, the body types were so different back then.
Everybody was skinny.
What'd you say?
Everybody was skinny, and
Right.
particularly in the gay community, everybody started getting a body because they didn't want to look like they had AIDS.
Right.
Skinny was unhealthy. So then all the gay dudes started getting all built up and get body. Then all the straight boys like, and we can't have the gay boys having better bodies than us. So
Right.
they started working out more too.
Right.
Now it's all about everybody being thick and muscular and having 6-pack abs and all that good stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't. The 70s was really about being slim and trim, and
Right.
skinny,
Right.
fashionable.
So I like this look right here. This
Okay.
the coat. The coat. The coat
That's
size.
Detroit right there.
I know.
That's so Detroit
Straight
style.
up Detroit.
Yeah.
But it has come back again. This style has actually
Yeah.
it had resurfaced.
Yes, it
Now
is.
they've changed the pants. Because the pants are more like the skinny. The form-fitting skinny pants right now. But the long coats are definitely back. We can't wear them in California. They don't get colder if I didn't wear
Yes,
them. regular
you could wear that in California. It gets cold at night.
Right.
Yeah, I like
This-
that. Yeah,
this
yeah,
this,
yeah.
this is another look now that we've evolved to, with the sweats and and the distinct leather jacket.
Oh, that's an interesting look.
It is.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
that leather jacket is bringing back Shaft. They're giving me that
Mhm.
Shaft moment.
Who is the man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is this is what I wanted. I'm glad we put this one up. Real fast. This is one I wanted to mention about jewelry. Okay, where now the gen or whoever wants to is actually men are wearing pearls now. I mean, and it actually looks good. At the end of the day, I had a guy and his wife came in and he was all pearled up the other day, came in the store and it looked really good, with his ensemble, so like this picture of this gentleman here, I think it looks, when it's worn appropriate, I think it looks good. It's okay. It's not saying that, pearls are just for a woman. Anymore. It's like
when I think of pearls, I think of my grandmother, so I'm gonna pass on the pearls.
Okay.
The episode of Gangsta-licious Boondocks, they made pearls so effeminate to you, but pearls, it depends on how you wear it.
Yeah, and it is, but a lot of your athletes wearing pearls now. I mean, they're like,
I've seen that.
Your long pearls.
Charles and Charge look of the 80s. The card,
the trippy look.
Yes,
right, yes,
Lord.
with the sweater across.
I don't think that's coming back. I think it's been here, but I don't think it's coming back to the bench.
Why?
This look never needs to come back.
Right.
Like Liberace at the piano.
But honestly, some of this stuff on the runway that you do see that.
Oh, that craziness!
Now I mean,
well, I think we all kind of passed through this phase.
A lot of people want to go back to this look because
the cross color days.
Yeah,
right. Now this is 23. This is kind of the several genres that's acceptable in fashion now. In 23. So you've got from form fitting to over baggy, to moderate baggy, to the off the shoulder, I mean, kind of. So this is a wide range of fashion, that's out there. Now, I wouldn't wear none of this, but but it does. I mean, it looks appropriate to some people.
Too much cloth. But a lot of your trade will want to go back to FUBU style.
No.
To the FUBU,
FUBU look.
Well, for us
by us. Okay. So I hope that I'm saying this to our engineer too. I sent them just a little funny cartoon. Okay, I hope he got it and maybe he can put it up in a minute. This cartoon, but it goes into one we went into the break by washing it. But okay.
Those looks, that last two. Let people be stinky if they want to be stinky. Some people like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an aphrodisiac.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and sip on your tea on that one.
It's an aphrodisiac. It's
ain't nothing smelling good about no doo-doo butt.
Oh Lord, we have to do that one next week because we are out of time for this week.
But yeah, that's gonna be part of the hygiene for next week. Anyway, I don't know if he didn't get a chance to get it up today, but we'll bring it up on next week's show. You'll be like, and it's gonna drive home the point what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It has been again fun night and also informative night for you. We hope that you do take something and extract something for your life on a regular basis. Because we come here, we put it together for you because we want you to be successful, authentic, healthy, wise, knowing that you're enough and keeping everybody out your damn business, and and all of the above in between. But we love you here. We will see you back here again on The Truth Behind the Truth.